Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Military Mayday. We're pointing out a few pieces on the chessboard. Got a couple interesting stories for you. This first one here is Army buys a long-range business jet to spy on China and Russia. There she is, ain't she a beaut? She is a nice-looking jet. Another one is U.S. allies give Houthis ultimatum: stop ship attacks or face consequences. Yeah, I think we've heard that a little bit before, haven't we? Before we get into these two articles, why don't you smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, get this information out, help me out. Would appreciate it. Let's do it here. The Army will buy a large cabin business jet from Bombardier as part of a new intelligence gathering initiative aimed at pairing the Army's increasingly long-range missiles with more sophisticated targeting systems, the service announced Wednesday. In addition to contact for one Global 6500 jet, the deal includes the option to purchase two more aircraft over the next 3 years. The first aircraft will be delivered on October 1st of this year, according to the Army press release. It's Army's first ever purchase of a large cabin business jet, referring to the long-range private planes more typically used for luxury travel. The acquisition will support ongoing work to develop the Army's new airborne intelligence collection effort, the High Accuracy Detection and Exploitation System, or HADES, according to the press. The Army began experimenting with platforms for HADES in 2020, but purchased services rather than equipment so that it could evaluate various vendors. As part of the program, the Army looked at two planes dubbed the Artemis and the Ares. Artemis packs intelligent collection equipment into the 1,400 cubic foot of the Challenger 600, while the Ares does the same, but with the Global 6500 jet. The Global 6500 is newer than the Challenger 600 and a longer range of 6,600 nautical miles, enough to get intelligence equipment to Europe or to the Pacific from the continental United States. The project's name stands for Aerial Reconnaissance and Targeting Exploitation Multi-Mission Intelligence System and the Airborne Reconnaissance and Electronic Warfare System, ARES. Where do they come up with these? The Army currently operates aging turboprop planes for similar types of airborne intelligence collection, such as the Cold War-era Guardrail plane. Such planes are no match for Chinese or Russian air defense. Business jets can fly higher than turboprops, which means that they have the ability to sense further and more persistent into areas of interest, Colonel Joe Miner, project manager for Army fixed-wing aircraft, said. The announcement comes as the Army turns to more advanced precise missiles to maintain its edge in the Pacific. Such missiles require high-quality targeting data, which could be provided by the HADES. Deep sensing is the Army's #1 operational imperative for the Army of 2030. The Challenger 600 under the Artemis program has patrolled the skies near Ukraine since the state of Russia's full-scale invasion in February 2022. The jet has flown almost every day for the last 3 months from its base in Romania along the border of Ukraine, Belarus, and Russia, according to the flight tracking website FlightAware. U.S. intelligence sharing and Russian military command posts reportedly has helped Ukraine target and kill Russian generals. At least 7 have died in the Ukrainian attacks. Here's a little interesting. The Navy robotic has its first giant robotic submarine. That's cool. One I might want to do. So yeah, buying business jets for reconnaissance. I mean, yeah, okay. Quite the expense. I'm sure we know where most stuff is with so-called satellites, don't we? Aren't we supposed to have satellites to track a lot of this stuff? U.S. allies give Houthis ultimatum: stop ship attacks or face consequences. Washington, the U.S., Britain, and key allies issued what officials describe as a final warning to the Houthi Yemeni rebel group Wednesday to cease its attacks on international shipping in the Red Sea or bear the consequences. Ongoing Houthi attacks in the Red Sea are illegal, unacceptable, and profoundly destabilizing, says the statement issued by more than a dozen nations. Yeah. U.S. military has prepared options to strike the Iran-backed rebel group, U.S. officials say. Should the U.S., Britain, and other nations use force, potential targets could include launcher for anti-ship missiles and drones targeting infrastructure such as coastal radar installations and storage facilities for munitions. Along the challenges to striking Houthi targets is that many of their weapon systems are mobile, the official said. Yeah, and with their drone reconnaissance, though, they should be able to pick them up pretty quick, hit them with a long-range missile. The Biden administration has been cautious about using force, seeking to protect the prospects for a diplomatic resolution to the Yemen conflict and avoid becoming entangled in a tit-for-tat confrontation with the Houthis. Houthi fighters overthrew the Yemeni government in 2014, which led to Saudi Arabia and the other Arab nations to mount a military campaign against the rebels. Months of talks between Saudi Arabia and the Houthis have produced a roadmap that the U.S. hopes could lead to resolutions of conflict. But the conflict between the Hamas and Israel has spurred the Houthis to launch missiles and drones at Israel and shipping traffic in the Red Sea. The President has made it clear the U.S. does not seek conflict with any nation nor actor in the Middle East, said John Kirby. As of Tuesday, the Houthis have carried out 24 attacks on commercial ships since mid-November, according to the U.S. Central Command, with overseas U.S. military operations in the Middle East. Tensions escalate further last week when Houthi fighters on 4 small boats fired at U.S. helicopters that came to the rescue of Singapore-flagged vessels in the Red Sea. The U.S. Navy helicopter returned fire, sinking 3 of the Houthi boats. Houthi attacks have had an effect on the global economy. Most oil tankers and container shippers are still avoiding the route and going around Africa. On Tuesday, the Danish shipping company said it would avoid the Red Sea route. It's very expensive to go around like that. Nearly 50% of global seaborne trade passes through the Red Sea, including 8% of global grain trade, 12% of seaborne traded oil, and 8% of the world's liquefied natural gas trade. The U.S. and Britain led the effort to issue a fresh multinational warning to the Houthis. 4 days, diplomats discussed the attacks as they sought to broaden the list of number of nations that were prepared to join it. I would not anticipate another warning, the administration official said. The list of signatories included the Australia. I'm not reading all that. The U.S. Eisenhower Aircraft Carrier Group is in the region, along with other American naval assets, British ships, and ships from the other nations. The Houthis have said their attacks are a response to the war between Israel and Hamas, and were quick to join the fighting on October 19th. The Houthis launched land attack cruise missiles and drones at Israel. According to the U.S. officials, those weapon systems were designed by Iran, according to American intelligence. The USS Carney guided missile destroyer, which was sailing in the northern Red Sea, shot down several cruise missiles. One was intercepted by Saudi Arabia, according to the people familiar with the episode. We must not overlook the root of the problem. Iran has long enabled these attacks by Houthis. Iran has a choice here. It can continue its current course, or it can withhold its support. About 18 shipping companies have decided to reroute vessels around the Cape of Good Hope in South Africa rather than transit the Suez Canal in the Red Sea. And around South Africa, I'm thinking there's all the pirates, the Somalis, and all that shit there that they got to worry about too. Tuesday evening, the Houthis launched 2 missiles that landed in the Red Sea without causing any damage, U.S. Central Command said. Houthis appear to be striking maritime targets, given that they have failed to strike Israel on land. Let's see here. Tabula, the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, a Washington-based think tank that has highlighted the threat. It says Iran poses to the U.S. and its allies. Iran is using the Houthis to generate economic costs that it hopes will pressure Washington to wind down Jerusalem's war against Hamas. Well, I'm pretty sure that the U.S. knows exactly what it's doing, and we've got a election coming up, don't forget, which is something else to take into consideration. People are kind of against these wars and whatnot, so he might even be backing down a little bit with Israel, which I think he is, the president. And again, who knows? He might go full hard. But again, you got a little bit of time before it starts to get hellish. I mean, over there in the fighting, I'm sure it's hellish, but over here, you're gonna be okay. Anyway, if you enjoy the content, just smash the like button, hit the subscribe button. Toodaloo.